Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Driven Dave here. I'm here with a very special guest, John Whitaker, amazing audio engineer par excellence, who has been involved in a lot of different projects. I know him as an excellent tuba player, and I didn't realize he was kind of Tesla royalty, you know, and really cool that we happened to just talk about this a few days just before the Tesla takeover, which I'm going to be on my way to tomorrow. So, John, would you mind telling us just a little bit about your background and like what you did with Tesla and everything?
Sure, yeah. So my background, my background's kind of in audio and acoustics and signal processing. So I've done a lot of work in signal processing from a systems perspective, software perspective, silicon perspective. So I've designed silicon chips and so forth for infotainment, for audio, for wireless radios and so forth. So it's been a long career, but it's been a good career. So I've been in automotive for almost 40 years now. Ford, Visteon, Texas Instruments, Tesla, and then now with DSP Concepts, which is a smaller audio software company. Yeah.
Wow. And I was reading, I found a little article that you were in.
Okay.
I hope you don't mind, and I think you mentioned you had kind of designed the first JBL system in the Ford Explorer.
Yes,
back
right.
in the
Yeah,
90s.
yeah,
Like, that is so cool.
yeah. So yeah, and I started at Ford doing sound system design, and that was it was basically the early days of JBL at Ford. So I was responsible for the system for the Explorer, and then some of the like the Mustang, some of the other vehicles that Ford had. And that was pretty early in the whole concept of branded audio,
Right.
for cars. And it really took off from there. And then you saw, Bose was in the game, JBL was in the game. Now you see a lot of brands, B&O Barmaster,
All of those.
and so it's kind of exploded. Especially the premium cars, they like to have that brand. They like to associate the brand with the demographics of the vehicle owner, right?
Right.
And try to draw in those owners, right? So it was pretty early days, right, where you didn't have the silicon capability that we have now,
Right.
So we had to really deal with basic amplifier designs, speaker designs. I mean, speakers have not changed a whole lot since 1940s, but the speaker designs have been really interesting in terms of reducing weight, getting smaller sizes, but still have enough output power,
Right.
Output capability. And then but the real chain thing that's changed since the JBL days is the amount of processing that you can do inside the computers and in the infotainment systems, right? So now you can take, a basic 5 or 6 channel system and expand it to a 30 channel system and do all of this additional processing, sound equalization, correcting for the cabin acoustics inside the software, right? So you can take relatively inexpensive components, speaker components, and do processing in the DSP or the computer, and then really create a really nice soundscape and sound experience that seems seamless and expansive relative to what we had back in the 70s and 80s, right? So it's come a long way, and a lot of it has really been motivated by that ability to do more and more and more processing inside the head units so that you can get more out of the sound system, right?
Right.
And not rely so much on really expensive components.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and what's really interesting about all of that is, like we were talking earlier, and John told me he designed the infotainment and audio system in the Model 3. And one of the things that I really love about the Model 3, and kind of my favorite thing that I enjoy every day, is the sound quality. And I kept thinking to myself, why does it sound so good? Like, who designed this? It must have been somebody that really knew the difference.
Yeah.
And turns out I already know who did it.
Well, it wasn't me and myself. We had a team.
Sure.
And there's some really, really smart people and people who are really passionate about audio.
Yeah.
And that's what it takes, right? You have to be really passionate about audio to look for the minute differences that create a good experience.
Yeah.
Right. And that's fundamental in all of these things, right? You find somebody who really loves audio, and they're like, you know what, this is the experience I want to create for my customers, right? And I'm going to design this thing at the system level, right? So rather than saying I'm going to put these really cool speakers in, you're going to say this is the system I want to build, and this is what I need to make that system work, right? So I need a certain speaker complement, I need a certain amount of amplifier power, I need to have a certain amount of signal processing capability, and then I build that out from a system perspective, and then dive into the components, right?
Right.
And that way you get a good experience at a most cost-effective design approach.
Yeah.
And Tesla did that all over the vehicle, right?
Oh yeah.
They designed everything from the system up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was kind of wondering, like, they could have put kind of whatever in there, like, whose idea was it to put like a really banging stereo in there?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, the you know the product ownership comes from the top, right?
Yeah.
So the experience that's translated to um, the user is all about, and I used to say this, it's all about endorphins.
Yeah.
Every time a user gets into the car and drives it, he needs to experience endorphins. When he listens to the sound system, he needs to experience endorphins. When he gets into the interior, he needs to experience it, right? So it has to be a wow experience to keep people engaged with the product.
Yeah.
And so that's really at the top level, fundamental design or design principle. The customer has to be excited to be in the vehicle.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the total environment.
Yeah.
Right? The ride quality, the noise, the interior design, the sound system, the look and feel of the UI.
Yeah.
Right. It's all about engaging the customer and bringing it in. And I think more car companies are going down that path, right? I think they really did a good job of embodying that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, John, it's such a pleasure to chat with you, and I thank you for your hard work on the system. I enjoy it every day, and I know everyone that has a Model 3, Model Y feels the same way.
Yeah. That's a great vehicle. That's not just a sound system. It's just a great vehicle.
Yeah.
Great experience.
Yeah. How long have you had yours?
I've had the Model 3 for 5 years now.
Oh, so is yours like a 2018?
Yeah, it's the very first model.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Because I was working there, so I got some of the first cars.
That's cool.
Yeah.
How many miles do you have now?
About 70,000.
Oh, it's still a pretty young car.
Yeah. I don't drive it. Of course, we had COVID for 2.5 years, so I didn't go anywhere.
Sat around, yeah.
But and it's my experience is very low maintenance, right? Change a couple tires and change the 12-volt battery. That's it. It's been a great experience.
Yeah. Oh, that's terrific.
Yeah.
Well, John, thank you so much. Be sure to comment down below and thank John for chatting with us today on his vacation. So, but really amazing guy, and of course, great tuba player. So anyway, until next time, my friends, stay driven. Bye-bye.
Perfect.